Good morning and welcome to the New York City Council Subcommittee hearing for Landmarks Public Studying Resiliency and Disposition. At this time, please put all devices on silent. If you wish to testify, please see one of the Sergeant of Arms. At this time, no one should approach the dais. Chair, you may begin.
Good morning. Welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Siting, Resiliency, and Dispositions. I'm Councilmember Christopher Marte, and I'm the chair of the subcommittee. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Councilmember Wilson, Councilmember Osei, Councilmember De La Rosa. Before we begin today's agenda, I will remind everyone that this meeting is being held in hybrid format. For members of the public who wish to testify remotely, we ask that you first register online, and you may do so now by visiting www.council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up, and then sign into the Zoom and remain signed on until you have testified. For anyone with us here today in person and wishing to testify, if you have not already done so, please see one of the Sergeant of Arms to fill out a speaker card, and we will call your name at the appropriate time. For anyone wishing to submit written testimony on the items being heard today, we ask that you please send it via email to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov, including the LU number and/or project name in the subject line of your email. Video and audio testimony will not be accepted. I remind members of the public that this is a governmental proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent unless and until called to testify. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcript of such recordings to the sergeant for inclusion in the hearing record. On today's agenda, we have a hearing on 3 landmarks application and 1 application by HPD. I now open the public hearing for pre-consider LUs for an application by New York City Department of Housing and Preservation and Development for 511 West 171st Street Cluster Project for an Urban Development Action Area Project, UDAP, approval pursuant to the Section 691 of the General Municipal Law and the approval of a 40-year Article 11 tax exemption pursuant to Section 577 of the Private Housing Finance Law. These actions will facilitate the rehabilitation of 3 buildings with 50 units in Washington Heights neighborhood of Manhattan in Councilmember De La Rosa's district. I'm going to allow Councilmember De La Rosa to say a few words before we start with the panel.
Thank you, Chair. I strongly support this application. This project will renovate 3 buildings with approximately 52 units in total. These units will convert to cooperative ownership. There are 36 are existing households and 14 will be first-time home ownership purchasing vacant units. This project is sorely needed in a district like mine. This project will ensure affordable home ownership and will make sure that existing tenants are able to finally own their apartments. And so I wanted to express my support for this project today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Appearing today on this panel is Shams Al-Khafaji, Michael McCarthy, Ariel Rawlings. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting council website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. Panelists, please ensure that your microphone is on. Council, will you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Ariel Rawlings.
Shams Al-Khafaji.
Michael McCarthy.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. You may begin.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. My name is Shams Al-Khafaji, and I'm a senior project manager with HPD's Affordable Neighborhood Cooperative Program, or ANCP. First, I would like to thank the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Resiliency and Dispositions for your time today. This morning, I'll be speaking on 511 West 171st Street Cluster, which is a proposal to rehabilitate 3 buildings in Washington Heights under HPD's ANCP. Next slide, please. This project comprises of 3 buildings, 511 West 171st Street, 522 West 174th Street, and 501 West 174th Street. The project sponsor is Lumley and Wolf Companies. The construction lender is Low Income Investment Fund, or LIF. There are 50 units total in these buildings, 36 of which are occupied or existing households, and 14 are vacant and will be first-time home buyers. The sales prices for the existing residents will be $2,500 or $250 for qualifying residents who earn under 80% of the area median income, or AMI. The sales prices for the vacant units will be affordable to 80% AMI households. The monthly maintenance is set per square foot so that the building income will cover at least 105% of the projected building expenses. The expected closing date for this project is September 2026, and here you'll see a breakdown of the post-rehab unit sizes, where there will be 3 one-bedrooms, 14 two-bedrooms, and 33 three-bedrooms. Next slide, please. The purpose of this program is to gut renovate the tenant interim lease, or TIL, buildings and to enable the 36 existing households to become homeowners. The structure of this program will be a collaboration between a sponsor, Lumley and Wolf, of whom we have Mike McCarthy today, partnering with HPD. The sponsor will manage the building during construction and throughout the conversion process. During construction, the nonprofit Restoring Communities HDFC will own the building to prevent any potential conflicts of interest with the sponsor. Upon conversion, the building will be owned and managed by the residents of the buildings, including the existing residents and the new purchasers of the currently vacant units. The requirements for the buildings to convert to cooperatives are to have 80% of existing residents attend to at least 8 co-op success trainings, which will be provided during the construction period. 80% of existing residents must also remain current on their rent payments, and lastly, 80% of the existing residents must choose to purchase their units at co-op conversion. Any buildings that do not convert will become rent-stabilized rental buildings post-rehab. Next slide, please. To speak on the affordability of these units, existing tenants will pay $250 if they are earning up to 80% of the area median income. Residents that earn more than 80% of the area median income will pay $2,500 to purchase their converted units. Existing residents will not obtain any personal mortgages for the purchase of their units. For the 14 new purchasers of the currently vacant units, purchase prices will be set affordable to 80% of the area median income. These prices are set so that the purchaser's personal mortgages plus monthly maintenance plus utilities will not exceed roughly 1/3 of their income to remain affordable. The area median income for a family of 3 in 2026 is shown here on the slides. Next slide, please. The TIL rents that residents are currently paying do not produce enough income to maintain the buildings. The monthly cost through ANCP will change through a rent restructuring process, ensuring that no tenant pays more than 30% of their income at that point of conversion. The expenses required to maintain a building include building insurance, heat and hot water, electric in public areas, maintenance staff salaries, sewer, accountant and legal, extermination, minor repairs, just to name a few. The shareholders will collectively decide how much they would like to increase the maintenance biannually, but there is a required 2% increase per year per the ANCP term sheet. Next slide, please. Any qualifying residents will receive Section 8 vouchers to ensure that they do not pay more than 30% of their total income on housing costs. The voucher will subsidize the difference between the resident's share, which is 30%, and the maintenance fee. Households that earn more than 40% AMI, the initial maintenance is set so that maintenance prices plus utilities do not exceed roughly 1/3 of their income. There are some estimates below on the slide of what monthly maintenance may look like at conversion, but these are just estimates again. Exact costs will be set closer to actual conversion date. But just to ensure, no one will pay more than 30% of their income. You'll see on the slide an example of the total monthly payments for a household in ANCP with an income of $20,000. The total maintenance for one bedroom is roughly $1,138 to cover 105% of building expenses. The shareholder would only pay $500, which is 30% of their income, and the voucher would then subsidize the maintenance with $638. Next slide, please. Typical project costs are included in the rehabilitation work are introducing new building systems, which include low carbon electrical and heating systems, new water and gas lines, and new electrification scopes through Nycc. Costs also go to the repair of roofs, the roof, windows, modernizing security, legalizing the unit layouts, and bringing the buildings up to code. Introducing new improved accessibility features, including accessible showers, wheelchair accessibility within the units. Also noting that all of the residents in these buildings have seen and most have signed off on their units layouts. These costs and repairs are made to ensure that buildings are in the best condition to transfer ownership to the residents. Lastly, residents are typically relocated during the construction period, which is approximately 24 to 30 months, which the project budget covers the difference between the current amount they pay, which is the till rents, and the relocation rents until conversion. Project budget also covers every other cost related to moving, like boxes, movers, tape, storage, etc. Next slide, please. Typical financing for co-op projects is majority paid for through a city capital loan, which will be provided in the amount of $500,000 to $700,000 per unit. There will be $0 debt payments and $0 interest payments for 40 years tied to the Article 11 property tax exemption. And the first loan payment will be due to the city after 40 years only if the co-op chooses to exit affordability. If the co-op chooses to stay under the regulatory agreement, then there will be no loan payment due and $0 debt payments. HPD's loan does not impact the maintenance fee amount because, as discussed earlier, the maintenance fee amount has been set to cover the building expenses and to add an affordability metric. The subsidized acquisition cost of $1 per building, because the buildings are currently city-owned, also brings down total development costs significantly. This project is also receiving funding through New York State Grant Affordable Housing Corporation, or AHC, which will not be repaid. Sales proceeds from both the occupied units, but primarily from the vacant units, will help provide funds to help finance the project. And lastly, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, or NYCERDA, Con Edison Clean Heat, and New York State Community Controlled Affordable Housing, which are all grants provided by the state, which are not repaid. Next slide, please. Residents will have the opportunity to build equity in this process. Shown here on the slides is a chart that is the estimated equity a homeowner would earn from selling their 2-bedroom unit at differing points of the conversion. Selling after 1 year would earn them approximately $32,000, as 95% of the profit would go back to the cooperative, whereas selling after 10 years would earn them $152,000, where 20% of the profit will go back to the cooperative. Ultimately, the goal of this shared equity system is to balance wealth building for shareholders and their heirs with permanent affordability for the community. Next slide, please. For the development timeline for this project, the sponsor designation process has already occurred. As previously mentioned, Lemley & Wolf has been designated. We're currently in the pre-development phase. We've had continuous tenant engagement. Scope of work has been determined. Budget and financing are currently in the works. We have 94% tenant sign-off on layouts, and we plan to obtain 100% in the coming weeks. And we plan to have all tenants relocated by fall of 2026. We're anticipating that construction will take between 24 and 30 months. During that period, the deed of the buildings will be transferred from the city to Restoring Communities, the temporary owner of the buildings. Then the construction loan will close and construction will begin as soon as the tenants are relocated. Tenants will attend the previously mentioned co-op homeownership trainings, and then the sponsor will engage an attorney to create an offering plan, which is what allows us to convert to co-op at the end of construction. After construction finishes, we anticipate it will take between 9 to 12 months to go through the marketing and conversion process so that the tenants can be moved back to the building as soon as it's ready. Marketing for the vacant units will begin. The buildings will convert to co-op once those units are being marketed and have signed purchasers, and the deed will be transferred to the co-op, and then the construction loan will be paid off at that co-op conversion point by permanent financing. Next slide, please. And here I'll pass it off to Mike McCarthy of Lemley & Wolf to speak about their organization's experience. Thank you.
Hi, Lemley & Wolf has been in business for the last 88 years. We've been managing, developing, and building affordable housing, starting in Upper Manhattan and the Bronx, and now we have a footprint throughout the city. This is our second ANCP project, and we're working on the third one with Shams and her team. And we've also developed other homeownership projects under the Open Door program. So we're very familiar with HPD's homeownership projects, and we're very committed to homeownership opportunities for New Yorkers.
And you can go to the next slide for contact info, but that's all.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation. Any of my colleagues have questions? Okay. Well, I want to say thank you, and the panel is excused. Do we have anyone for this? If there are any remote public participants who wish to testify and have not already done so, please press raise hand button now. And if you are here with us in person, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to first fill out a speaker card. Guessing no one's here. Since there are no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding pre-consider LU for the 511 West 171st Street Cluster Project, the joint public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. I now open a joint public hearing for LUs 91, 92, and 93 by the Landmarks Preservation Commission for 3 applications for landmarking 3 individual landmarks. LU 91 is for the landmarking of PS 15 Annex in Councilmembers Wrestlers District in downtown Brooklyn. LU 92 for the landmarking of the Church of St. Mary in my district on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. LU 93 for the landmarking of the Lithuanian Alliance in Councilmember Wilson's district in Chelsea's neighborhood of Manhattan. Appearing today on this proposal are Stephen Thomas and Margaret Herman. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting the council website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. Panelists, please ensure that your microphones are on. Council, would you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Margaret Herman.
Stephen Thompson.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I guess before we begin, I know Councilmember Wilson would like to say a statement.
Sveki Vesi. My Lithuanian's a little rusty, but I'm told that means greetings to all. I'm proud to support the historic landmark designation of the Lithuanian Alliance building. For over 100 years, the Lithuania Alliance has used this building as a base to help fellow immigrants from Lithuania settle into life in the United States and to enrich the city with Lithuanian culture, thought, and heritage. The work continues today as the Alliance preserves and shares Lithuanian cultural heritage. The building is a touchstone in the history of immigration to New York City and a model for the future as our city becomes more pluralistic and strives to be more equitable. I hope my colleagues will join me in supporting this designation. Sveski me kartu. How's that? Okay. That means let's celebrate together.
Sounds great
Very
to me.
good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Councilmember Wilson, and we'll allow the panelists to begin. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Marte and subcommittee members. My name is Margaret Herman, Director of Research at the Landmarks Preservation Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to present our 3 recent individual landmark designations: the Church of St. Mary, the Lithuanian Alliance Building, and Public School 15 Annex. All 3 of these designations are architecturally significant, thank you, and culturally significant, relating to the immigration history of New York City. The designations fulfill LPC's goals of equity by helping to tell the story of all New Yorkers. We were delighted to receive so much support for all 3 of these designations at the public hearings in March. For St. Mary's in particular, we were especially pleased about Chair Marte's testimony in support of the designation. We received testimony with strong support from the owners of the Lithuanian Alliance and PS 15 Annex, as well as a variety of preservation advocacy groups, including the Landmarks Conservancy, Historic Districts Council, the Lower East Side Preservation Initiative, the Boerum Hill Association, and others, and many members of the public. Next slide. Starting with the Church of St. Mary. The Church of St. Mary is the home of Manhattan's 3rd oldest Catholic parish. It was founded in 1826 to serve the rapidly growing Irish immigrant population of the Lower East Side, and today it remains an important center of Catholic immigrant life in the community. The building was completed in 1833, making it the 2nd oldest existing Catholic church building in Manhattan. Originally adorned with a Greek Revival facade, prolific Irish-American architect of Catholic churches Patrick Charles Keeley designed its current Romanesque Revival facade and towers in 1864. Next slide. The church is located at 440 Grand Street between Clinton and Pitt Streets, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide, please. Since the colonial period, Irish immigrants to New York faced anti-Catholic discrimination and violence, including a prohibition of Catholic priests that persisted beyond American independence. The repeal of this law in 1784 cleared the way for the open practice of Catholicism in New York State, with St. Mary's established in 1826. In 1832, the parish began construction of the first purpose-built Roman Catholic church on Manhattan's Lower East Side. The church was built with fieldstone side facades and a monumental Greek Revival primary facade. Next slide. The parish thrived and in 1864 engaged Irish-born architect Patrick Charles Keeley to expand the church and update its facade. Over the course of his career, Keeley designed nearly 600 churches in the United States. St. Mary's is the first individual New York City landmark designed by Keeley. Next slide. Keeley's facade design for St. Mary's, dominated by double towers, is executed in red brick with handsome brownstone details. The church is a striking example of Romanesque Revival architecture using the rounded arches that define the style. Next slide. The image on the right shows St. Mary's looking from the rear along the now gone Ridge Street. While the front facade was remade, the fieldstone side facades from the Greek Revival style original construction remain. Next slide, please. The blocks surrounding the church changed dramatically over the course of the mid-20th century as smaller tenements and mixed-use structures gave way to high-rise residential buildings during the era of urban renewal. In the 1960s, St. Mary's partnered with the Department of Housing and Urban Development to establish the Grand Street Guild, an organization dedicated to building affordable housing in the neighborhood. One of these buildings was built just to the east of St. Mary's, resulting in the demapping of Ridge Street and the creation of a pedestrian path and community space, pictured at the right. Next slide, please. In its early history, the Church of St. Mary was central to the lives of many of the earliest Catholics who came to New York from Ireland. It continues to be an important community institution to more recent Catholic immigrants, including the many from Spanish-speaking communities who make up the parish today. Next slide. The Church of St. Mary embodies 2 centuries of the history and diversity of immigrants on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and it remains an important reminder of the neighborhood's early development. Thank you. Next slide. So now we'll move on to the Lithuanian Alliance building in Manhattan. Next slide. Located in the northern area of Chelsea, the Lithuanian Alliance building is an example of the neighborhood's handsome 19th century residential fabric and has important cultural significance due to the Lithuanian Alliance being headquartered in the building for more than 100 years. The Neo-Greek style building was constructed between 1876 and 1877 and was purchased in 1910 by the Lithuanian Alliance, which still owns the building and operates there today. Next slide. The building is located on the north side of West 30th Street, just west of 8th Avenue, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide. The Lithuanian Alliance building can be seen just under the red arrow on the photo at the right. Developers Samuel J. and Edward E. Ashley bought the lot in 1867 and in 1876 filed plans for a 4-family dwelling. Next slide. The Lithuanian Alliance was established in 1886, and the organization bought this building in 1910. Fraternal alliances such as the Lithuanian Alliance were set up to help fellow immigrants weather the difficulties of life in the United States, offering material aid like insurance policies, health benefits, loans, as well as seeking to preserve and propagate Lithuanian cultural heritage. Lithuanians have a long history in the United States, with an influx of immigrants starting in the late 19th century. By 1904, there were roughly 15,000 Lithuanians in New York and New Jersey. Next slide. In addition to its other activities, the Alliance also established the Lithuanian language paper Tevyn. Around the time the Alliance purchased 307 West 30th Street, the paper began operating out of the basement of the building and was published weekly. Next slide. The building was altered in 1976 as part of a modernization plan that involved painting the facade white and adding metal panels at the ground level. But under the guidance of a preservation architect, the Lithuanian Alliance removed these panels in 2018 and restored the historic features, restoring the appearance of the building as it was first constructed. Next slide. The Lithuanian Alliance building exemplifies the important history of Lithuanian Americans in New York City. The Lithuanian Alliance played an essential role in aiding immigrants, ranging from those recently arrived at Ellis Island to those with a longer tenure in the country. And for over a century, the Lithuanian Alliance has been located at this building, and it continues to be a hub of Lithuanian culture to this day. Next slide. And finally, I'll present Public School 15 Annex in Brooklyn. Next slide. The Public School 15 Annex represents a distinctive design by James Naughton, the prolific superintendent of public school buildings in Brooklyn in the last quarter of the 19th century. From the 1920s to the 1940s, the building served as the headquarters of the influential Brooklyn Girls Continuation School, a pioneering institution that expanded educational, economic, and social opportunities for young women. Next slide. The building is located on the southeast corner of Skirmerhorn Street and 3rd Avenue, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide, please. The architect James Naughton was an Irish immigrant who came to New York as a child in 1848. He held various city positions until he became superintendent of schools for the Brooklyn Board of Education. In this position, he constructed over 100 schools. Next slide. The old school building of Public School 15 was constructed in 1859 on what was previously farmland. In the 1880s, the school became overcrowded, and in 1889, it was enlarged with the construction of this distinctively designed annex building. Naughton articulated the elevation of the school through varied materials and sculptural massing, emphasizing a central vertical element that lifts the composition upward. Next slide. The Brooklyn Girls Continuation School was regarded as the forefront of democracy in the school system and was part of a larger continuation school program providing education for children above the age of 14 who until 1919 had no right to education and often went straight to work in dangerous low-paying jobs. The girls' school specifically addressed challenges girls faced, including the expectation to care for the family and tend to the home. Students learned practical skills such as dressmaking and household budgets, and were also given the opportunity to study bookkeeping, stenography, nursing, and other subjects that required technical training. Next slide. In the mid-1920s, the population of downtown Brooklyn surrounding the school was primarily immigrants from Europe, including Lithuania, Italy, Poland, Ireland, and the Netherlands, and this was reflected in the Girls Continuation School's student and teacher populations. Next slide. With funding from the WPA, the school also became an evening vocational and English language school for adult men and women in the 1930s. Next slide. The Girls Continuation School closed in 1942, and the building next became a Department of Education outpatient clinic for child psychology. In the 1990s, it housed a specialized business high school, continuing to teach young adults vocational skills, and in 2007, it became home to the Khalil Gibran International Academy. Next slide. With its distinctive architecture intact today, the Public School 15 Annex is a place that has served multiple academic functions over its lifetime, providing education and independence for children, women, and immigrants, and the building continues to reflect its history as an important site of opportunity. Thank you, and we're happy to answer questions on any of these designations.
Thank you for the presentation. I also want to acknowledge that we've been joined by Councilmember Thomas Henry. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? No. I want to say thank you for the presentation and all the work that you put into these three potentially landmark sites. So the panel is excused. Yeah. We have a few members of the public that would like to testify. First, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. Radville Meskavicute? Oh, you could take, yeah. And then we have Gepris Gaukuska. Oh, that's you. Okay. And then we have Lama Nihalovic. Awesome. And then I'll make one more call for Radville. Is Radville around? Oh, they're coming. Okay, great. All right, we'll wait until everyone takes a seat.
So,
Okay.
Dear council members, I guess.
Just a reminder, before you speak, please press the button to have the microphone on. We also have a time limit of 2 minutes that will be shown right here, and you may now begin.
Start? Okay. On behalf of the Lithuanian Alliance in New York, we extend our sincere gratitude for granting our building landmark status in New York City. The designation recognizes far more than a physical structure. It honors a vital cultural and community space that has long served as a second home for many. For immigrants, distance from one's homeland often brings a deep sense of nostalgia. Within the walls, our community has found a safe haven, a place where we preserve our heritage, foster creativity, and build meaningful connections. The LAA building is not only a hub for art and culture expressions, but also a space where traditions are sustained and shared with future generations. This achievement is also a testament to the tireless dedication of countless volunteers and especially the leadership of its president, whose commitment has ensured the building's preservation and continued growth. Their work inspires ongoing engagement, encouraging us to organize events, expand programming, and introduce Lithuanian culture to a broader New York community. We look forward to building on this recognition by strengthening cultural ties, fostering inclusivity, and ensuring that this landmark continues to serve as a vibrant center for both Lithuanians and all New Yorkers for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, members of the council, for being here. And I'm Giedrius Galkauskas. I'm Deputy Consul General of Lithuania here in New York. On behalf of the Consulate of Republic of Lithuania in New York, I would like to strongly support the application by the Lithuanian Alliance to designate Lithuanian Alliance building as a New York City individual landmark. The Lithuanian Alliance is the oldest continuously operating Lithuanian organization in the world. It provides vital link with the United States at crucial historical junctures for Lithuania and remains a irreplaceable part of Lithuanian American history. It sheltered first waves of Lithuanian immigrants in the late 19th century, promoted recognition of newly established Lithuanian state in 1918, supported efforts to oppose Soviet occupation right until the 1990, and was a crucial pillar for the strengthening newly established Lithuania. In the last couple of decades, the importance of alliance building grew beyond the roots in the Lithuanian American community. Just as Lithuanian relations with the United States developed into a deep strategic alliance, the Lithuanian alliance building became a place from which our heritage is shared to the city and the community, opening art space made alliance building accessible to all New Yorkers, and the arts team makes a consistent effort to involve local artists into their programming. Decision to designate Alliance Building as a New York City individual landmark would not just recognize architectural and cultural significance of the building, but would reaffirm New York's becoming welcoming, tolerant, and multicultural character. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You may begin.
Dear council members, thank you for having us here. My testimony will be very short today. Today I'll represent the Lithuanian community. I also work at the consulate and volunteer at Lithuanian Alliance Building, and I'll be very short. This is not a building for us. This is our second home, and would really appreciate if you could vote yes in our favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate you guys being here today. This panel is now excused unless there's any questions, and I also want to acknowledge Majority Whip Councilmember Hanks. So you guys are good. Thank you. If there are any remote public participants who wish to testify and have not already done so, please press the raise hand button now. And if you are here with us in person, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to first fill out a speaker card. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding LUs 91, 92, and 93 for the landmarking of PS Annex, Church of the St. Mary, and the Lithuanian Alliance, the joint public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. Thank you all. That concludes today's business, and I'd like to thank all the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee, council, land use staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for your participation today. This meeting is hereby adjourned.